Test. Test, test. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies for that. I'm dealing with a new system. It's very buggy. Anyway, this is Financial Literacy 101. I'm your host, Ross Warren. Today, we'll be talking about debt, okay? We'll be talking about debt. Majority of Americans have debt. It always fluctuates between 80 and 90% of Americans have debt, okay? Between 80 and 90% of Americans have debt. Majority, 90% of Americans do have debt. Whether be your rich of the rich, your one percenters. Also, your high class, your middle class, and your lower class citizens. We all have debt in some form of way. Over 90% of us. Why is that? First of all, before we get into that particular question, I would like for us to establish a base, an understanding, a comprehension of what debt really is. So we're going to do maybe 3 or 4 versions of what debt is according to dictionaries on the internet. Right here we have that debt, something typically money that is owed or due. Under that, the similarities, you have a bill, an account, and a tally, the state of owing money, then also a feeling of gratitude for a service or a favor. That's kind of like them old English movies like, I'm indebted to you, good sir. You did a great thing here today. They do some weird stuff like that, right? They're indebted to that person. Adjacent to your right over here, it says debt is an obligation that requires one party, the debtor, to pay money or other agreed upon value to another party, the creditor. Like if I was to loan you money, you would be now in debt to me being the creditor, because I essentially gave you a line of credit, okay? That is a deferred payment or series of payments, which actually goes back and forth between purchases between people. I don't really like the definition, but here's another one. Debt is something typically money that is owed or due. Borrowing money more than you can afford is costly in many ways. Taking out too much debt also lowers your credit score. That means you will end up paying higher interest rates on all of your consumer mortgage loans. Now, let's look at credit like this. When it comes to your debt, it's a direct connect line into your credit score. Okay, so that's why sometimes you may have a good credit score, but your debt to income ratio will stop or decline you from getting a loan. Why is that? You're like, okay, well, you make $50,000 a year, but your bills equal $45,000 again. And you may be taking out a $25,000 loan. The debt to income ratio is too high. Let's take, for instance, this is your income. Okay, this hand is your income. And this is your debt. Your debt is too close to your income where there's no wiggle room, meaning that if you hiccup the wrong way, if a window get busted out in your car, maybe from a stray rock that hit your car, then you are scraping money together. You know, you're scraping again to actually fix that vehicle. And guess what? When banks, when investors, when you go to these credit loan places that give you lines of credit, they want some guarantee that they will get their money back. And one of the great indicators is, what is your debt to income ratio? Okay. What is your debt to income ratio? So that essentially you have to understand and know how much money you have coming in, and you have to understand how much money you have coming out, because those are things that will directly affect your credit score and actually hurt your bottom line. Okay, that will actually hurt your bottom line. So those are the things that we really need to understand. Let's see what else that we can dive into very quickly to see what is debt. Okay, they said in simple words from your most famous website, Wikipedia, debt is what someone owes to someone else. Usually debt is in the form of money, but it can also be items, services, favors, or other things, okay? That means you are indebted to a person for a favor. If someone did a favor for you, like, yeah, man, I got you. That's kind of the term, but it also means that you're indebted to that person. Someone gave you a ride, came pick you up, etc. Same difference, some form of debt. Let's see here, but it also can be other items. Thus, if you make an agreement to give or do something for someone else, you now owe them a debt. But the main debt we are referring to here, ladies and gentlemen, is the debt that most people have in America when we don't have the funds ourselves, or we have the funds ourselves, but we don't want to use our money because the risk is too high. Now, that's later part of the video when we start talking about using debt as an engine for cash flow, because a lot of investors do this. Now, you don't need to have excellent credit, but you need to have decent credit in order for this to work for you. A lot of real estate investors, whether they are buy, hold, and rent or buy and flip, they mostly use other people's money until them too become millionaires, and then they will just take on some of the rest themselves. So they're not giving somebody else the interest on the loan that they got from them. But debt is so important that nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to dive into it. Nobody wants to understand the most important thing about debt is your psychological hold to debt. When people, we have this terminology that when we go out and some rich person or some rich investment group or some rich bank, which are just essentially a couple of, rich old white men who put money to a bank to give people on different economic levels, whether they are low, medium, or high interest rates, so they can get a return on their investment. No matter, they're getting richer. And we need to understand what debt really is. People say, "Oh, I love your car." I'm like, "Well, it's not mine." They're like, "What are you talking about?" I say, "Well, right now I'm buying it from the bank." See, when you separate the two, right? When you go out and you say, "Oh yeah, man, I just bought this new car." No. Let's really take a deep dive into what your mind, what your brain connects to and says, did you really buy a car, or did you go into your bank, or did you go into the car lot? They ran your credit to see how credit worthy you are, how good you are in paying your bills, and then allowed you to take the car off the lot and once you finish with the car lot, that's fine, because now the bank owns the car. And the bank said, "Okay, yeah, we saw your credit score, you're pretty good. Yeah, we see your debt to income ratio, you're pretty good there. So we're going to give you the loan at, let's say 3-4%. That's not too bad. And just pay this amount a month." But the other part of that is they make you have insurance. See, that's when you know it's not your car. You have to get full insurance. That is the difference between you owning your own car, because most states require that you only get liability insurance. Most states require that you only get liability insurance. And that's what you essentially need to understand. That car that you're driving around is not your car. Okay? That house that you're sitting in right now is not your car. Yeah, all your name is on the paperwork, but who holds the deed to your home? The bank. Until you pay off that $50,000, $250,000, $450,000 house, it's that bank's. Because here's the thing: if it's your house, stop paying the mortgage. Then, if it's your house, stop paying the mortgage. Again, we are deconstructing the way that you look at debt, because you really know what debt. You need to really know what debt is. Okay, I have debt, you have debt, we all have debt. But a lot of us don't really know what debt is because we don't understand it. We believe that we go out and we qualify for a loan, that vehicle, that motorcycle, that boat, that camper is ours. No, it isn't. If it was yours, you wouldn't have to pay a monthly amount on it. If it was yours, you wouldn't have to get full insurance. That's why when people own a vehicle or when people own certain things, they say, "You know what? I'm just going to get liability insurance." Because they don't understand what debt really is. Okay, we can and see this nugget right here is just for knowledge. It has nothing to do with that. Even after you buy your home, meaning that you have the deed in your hand, in your name, you don't even own the land that your house sits on. There's only a few people in America that actually owns the land that their house sits on. And I'm gonna tell you how this works. Let's say, for instance, you know someone, maybe yourself, maybe a family member, maybe a friend, They own their own house. They don't pay the bank or any investor any money for their home. Tell them if they believe that they own their home outright, which they do, the home, but not the ground. If they tell you that they own the land, tell them do not pay property taxes. Tell them, call up the state, go to the city council and say, I no longer want water or electricity, gas to be ran to my home. I'm totally want to operate off the grid with my own home on my own land. If that is the truth, right? If that is the truth, I'm telling you right now, the city ain't going for it. It's going to be declined, disapproved, etc. Because if you stop paying property tax, what happens to your home? They snatch it. The only way they don't snatch your home, because essentially they're just taking the land. You will have to uproot your house, put it on a semi, and roll out. What is that, good or bad? Anybody in the chat, let me know if you believe that debt is good or bad. And it's a trick question. I'll give you that much. It's a trick question because let's put the cat out the bag. When debt is a liability only, that is bad debt. That is bad debt. Let me tell you like this, your car, that's bad debt. Your car is a liability unless, and this is very few chances that debt working for you. You are Uber driver, you're a Lyft driver. You own your own car already, and the amount of money that you're receiving from Uber is more than the amount for maintenance and gas on your vehicle. Then that vehicle is essentially an asset because it's making you money. Let's talk about your home. Some people like to believe, oh, I've been in my home 3 years. I've been in my home 10 years. I've been in my home 15 years. I have all this sort of equity in my home. So my home is now an asset. No, it is not. Your home is a liability. Why is it? Because your home is not making you any money. You may have money in it, but it's not earning you any money. Think about your home as a piggy bank, right? Where investments are totally different in piggy banks, because I want you to get your mind into you're saving money inside your home. You're building your equity, okay? We understand? You're building your equity, putting money inside your home, but your home is not having you to earn money. Essentially, it's just building up equity because of the amount of money that you were paying off on your loan, one. Two, your neighborhood probably just built a school, built a fireplace, built a fire department, put a pool up that increased the property value in your neighborhood, which also increased your equity. But essentially, your house is a liability unless you're renting out rooms, you're doing Airbnb, you're doing some sort of hostel. Okay, that is when your home is really an asset. And I know people don't normally talk about these things because they don't want you to talk about debt. Because ever since 1971, Nixon changed the standard, the dollar that is backed by, from gold to debt. The dollar is no longer backed by gold. It is backed by debt. The ability for an American to pay another American amount of money. Okay? I remember back in the day, this is way before I was born, you was born, they used to write IOU. That's a debt. They're like, John Hancock owes you, I owe John Hancock this amount of money. And they used to put their signature on there. Okay? They used to put their signature on there. They're John Hancock. You get what I'm trying to say? That was some of the first debts. Okay? Or bills. So we have all these terminology in the financial world, but a lot of them are from the 17 and 1800s about bills and debts, etc. And that's what we need to understand, the psychology of debt, that you don't own nothing until you have the title or deed. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Then some of you would like to believe, oh, I have a great credit score. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, your credit score is a measurement, is an indicator, is a number for creditors and lenders to see in order to give you debt. When you go out and you buy a car, when you go out and you buy a house, You saying, hey, can I have some of your debt, please? Yes. Let's give you a menu. Okay, so your credit score is, let's say, 680 to 720. Okay, so if I go with this bank, they're going to give me 4%. If I go with this bank, go 3%. This is a menu. We're talking about a menu, ladies and gentlemen. I have a menu here. I guess I'm going to go with this bank because it gives me a lower interest rate. Yeah, but thank you for all the debt you're giving me. Your $20,000 car, your $30,000 car, your $40,000, your $56,000 car. You are in debt. It's not your car. Yeah, go ahead and put rims on it. Go ahead and put a stereo on it. Go ahead and tint the windows. It's not your car. That is a psychological deconstruction that I'm trying to contextualize for people to understand about debt. And I'm not saying that I'm without debt. So let's get that straight. The only person, that's without debt is, what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name, guys? He did Financial Peace University. Had it on the tip of my tongue. If anybody want to write in chat, please do. But that's the only person that has no debt. Because I know millionaires who borrow money from other millionaires because of the risk factor in order to generate cash. Dave Ramsey, thank you so much, KNN. Thank you so much. I mean, James, thank you. And Penny Stock Investor, thank you. Dave Ramsey, he's the only one without debt. Most Americans have debt. Okay, so we need to understand the psychological discord that bankers, lenders, organization disconnects our brain to what debt really is. Okay, we glorify home ownership. We glorify having your own vehicle. We glorify all these things. The one thing that I wasn't told growing up was debt. If somebody would have told me about debt growing up, I probably would be a rich guy right now, okay? And the reason why I say that is because if you didn't tell me about savings, if you didn't tell me about investing, but you taught me about debt, debt would have opened a whole can of worms to let me know, save your money, don't owe nobody no money. You see how one lesson can lead into another lesson that leads you on a road to success? And that's what we need to really get into, because we need to understand the psychological ties that we have with debt when we go out and we buy something on credit and we say it's ours. No, it's not. No, it's not, because if the car is yours and you still have a car note, go ahead and stop paying it. And watch some guy with a pickup truck come and grab your car, right? It's your car. So that is the connections to debt that we need to understand is when you borrow money, you owe someone the money for the item or the product that you purchase. And you need to understand you don't own anything until you have some sort of paperwork saying this is now yours. See, when you go out and buy a home, you are signing hundreds of sheets of paper, maybe 50, maybe 100. It's a lot of sheets of paper, and all your name is on it. You know what they're saying? It's your responsibility to pay the bank, whoever gave you the loan, the amount of money that you agreed upon. And you also need to have home insurance. And we're also going to throw in home warranty. Oh, and you also live in an area where they have HOA. Home association. So you need to pay that amount too. So not only do you need to pay for the home, but you also need to pay for the neighborhood that you live in. So when we talk about debt, a lot of people like to get into credit card debt, right? Credit card debt. My thing is you can still use credit card as a source for you to actually get rewards and points of that nature. Some people don't agree with that. Some people don't believe in credit cards at all. But if you are disciplined in your spending, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm not a saint. I will be disciplined for a long time. Then I'll go and go crazy with my credit card. But the fortunate thing is I always have enough money to pay it off before the billing cycle happens, so I don't pay no one any interest rates. Now, one of my favorite cards is my Gap card, my Gap Visa card. And what I love about that card is because a lot of shirts I buy from the Gap because they're fairly inexpensive. They're really nice shirts. Don't wash them too long. They streak them on your lap. Hey, financial literacy 101. But anyway, they're really nice shirts. They're inexpensive. So I like to go to the Gap. So I get those points, right? And I pay my card off. So I don't pay Gap any interest rates. I don't pay any interest rate to have them. And they still give me the reward points that accumulate into cash when I spend it in Banana Republic, Old Navy, and the Gap. Okay, because all those companies are in partnership if you did not know. So essentially, if you know how to use credit cards effectively and for your purpose, you can get away with gaining air miles, reward points, etc., to buy all sorts of things and not pay any interest on that. But I want you to have this one takeaway. Your debt to income ratio, okay, the amount of debt you have compared to the amount of income you have coming in, is a direct correlation to your credit score. Is a direct correlation to your credit score, and that's the thing that you need to understand. All right, let's read some of your notes here. We have Kane and CL. Good afternoon, everyone. And then we have James C. says, I used to consolidate my debt to a lower rate. All right, let's talk about that because that also has to do with debt, okay? Let's talk about consolidation as well as refi. Okay, essentially, guys, what you need to understand is when you consolidate a loan, it just depends if that loan is good for you. Because take, for instance, if you use, is it a snowball avalanche or was it a snowball? I forgot the snowball effect. But anyway, when you pay off your lowest credit card, your lowest loan first, and you wipe away that credit interest, and then you work on your next your next lowest one, so on and so forth. That is essentially a good method to eliminate your debt. But when you consolidate your loans into one, first and foremost, here's a few questions I have for that person or for that entity or whatever organization I'm dealing with. One, how long is this loan for? Once you consolidate them and you pay off all my other debt, how long is my loan with you? One. Two, what are the payments? And three, the most important, what is the interest rate? Because let's say, for instance, you have three loans, right? You have three loans. They all 3%, 369. So essentially, you're paying 9% on the amount of money for those loans. But let's say, hey, man, we're going to pay off all your loans. You're going to have one bill. We're going to get you for 10%. You're like, okay, cool. But I'm going to have one bill, right? I'm going to have just one bill, right? They say, yeah, but it's going to be 10%. Now, you tell me if that's a good deal or not. Okay, so I'm going to be paying 10% for 10 years. I'll make it more realistic. 10% at 5 years. And all your other bills you would have paid off in 5 years. So you have three bills. You have three loans. Each of them are 3%. And it's going to take you 4 to 5 years to pay them off. But you want to consolidate all your loans to get one lower rate. Now, granted, when you tally them up, you say, man, you know, I'm paying 3%, 4%, because sometimes we don't even look at the numbers. So we get fooled. So now you're like, okay, cool. I want to consolidate all of mine. Somebody said, yeah, we're going to consolidate. We're going to pay all these other. You're going to have no other bills. This is how to get you, right? You're not going to have any other bills. You're going to have one bill for this amount, this long, 10%. You're like, okay. Well, how much was I paying? Well, sir, you know, for this one, you was paying like 3-4%, and like this one, you was paying like another 3-4%. You see how I'm inflecting my tone. You see my verbiage. You see how I'm using words to persuade you without actually giving you hardcore numbers, because I want to give you this one loan that's at 10% versus your three loans that were at 3%, and you would have done it at 9%. This is when you consolidate. So you have to be very aware, and you have to know all the details, the very minute details of your loans. That way, when you're trying to consolidate, you're not being ripped off by some loan shark. Secondly, refinance. Refinance is essentially another loan. It's a loan that they pay off the previous loan to get you in at a lower interest rate. But here's the ticker. If you have a 30-year fix on your house and you paid off 5 years, Okay, let's say, for instance, your interest rate was 5%. And they say, well, sir, and this is how they do it. You never get more than 2% off, so I'm going to do 1%. Say, sir, we can refi you right now because interest rate in the market are really low. So we can refi you at 4%. And you say, okay, refi you at 4%. Okay, cool, man. How much would I pay for my mortgage then? Well, sir, right now you was paying $1,600. With this 1% off, you'll be paying $1,450. $1,450? I take off $150 off my loan? Oh yeah, I'm doing that all day. Well, how long is the loan for? Oh yeah, it's a 30-year fix, sir. And you're like, okay, yeah, I did a 30-year fix on my first one, so I'm doing 30 for a year on my second one. But you're paying for 35 years. See, no one likes to take this advice because it's hard. It's hard to do. Because when you go out and you buy your home, most people, like this idiot, goes out and buy a large home. But it's a method to my madness when it comes to that. And I'll probably give you that information on another video. But they go out and buy a really nice home because it's their first home. They want to be nice, da-da-da-da. So they go out and then they want to refi their loan. After they already built the five years of equity inside the home. And guess what they want after that? They want their equity out of their home to do home improvements to increase the value of their home. While your neighborhood has been building up, already building equity in your home. You see what I'm getting at? Then they come and refi it, and now you're in another 30-year fix. They say, hey, do you want the equity out of your home, or you want us to put the equity back in your home? Now, depending on what you want to do with your home, if this is your retirement home, some people would like to take that equity out, expand their patio, maybe get a pool, maybe get a pergola, etc. They want to do different things in their home. They want to update the kitchen, update the bathrooms, maybe get an elevator. I don't know. They want to do different things with their home, but they pull that equity out because this is their retirement home. But now you are in a 30-year fix again, not just 25. But here's a ticker for you guys. If you really want to refi, or better yet, when you go out and buy your first home, buy a small home and get a 15-year fix. That's right. Get a 15-year fix. Think about it like this. Let's take, for instance, you're 25 and you're 35. Let's just take, for instance, you're 25, you're 35, okay? So if you're 25, that means at the age of 40, you will already own that home outright. It will be your home at the age of 40. And if you're 35, okay, at the age of 50, you will own that home. Some people, a lot of people in America never own their home because they understand that 30-year fixes are astronomically long loans. Long loans. Is there a way to get away from this? That debt? You have to think with this. This is a psychological deconstruction of them tying you into a debt that you're going to owe rich people till the day that you die. This is what they want you to do. So you can go in buying a 15-year fixed loan, or there's a method to the madness. You can get a 30-year fix knowing that you're building in a neighborhood that is primarily new. This neighborhood was built either in 3 to 7 years, and they're still doing more building. And when they build up new constructions, right, they build new spec homes, they're building new playgrounds, they're building new swimming pools. Guess what they do? You bought your house at $350. When they build these new homes, because of the people who already live in it, increase the property value, now these new listed homes are $400,000. Guess how much your house is now worth? $400,000, because that is what your neighborhood entry price is. That is what your neighborhood entry price is, because when they do these upgrades in your homes, like I'm going to upgrade my kitchen, upgrade my bathroom, I'm going to get a patio, I'm going to cover it, I'm going to drop a hot tub, I'm going to do all these things, and they're going to be fixed inside the home. So now in your $400,000 neighborhood, you have increased the equity, you have increased the value of your home, and so now your home that you paid for a couple of years ago at $350, now your house is worth $330. You're going to get your money back plus some, because even if you don't do nothing to your home, you do zero upgrade. Zero upgrade. If you live in a middle class to high class neighborhood and you buy in early on, the property value of them homes will increase and you will get a good return on your investment, which is your home. But that doesn't mean that your butt is still not in debt. That doesn't mean that your butt is still not in debt. Okay? A buddy of mine, what he does is he goes to his old neighborhoods that he knows, and he'll take 30 to 60,000, pay for a home, rehab it, flip it, and then rent it out. But do you know that you can go in certain neighborhoods in your city, in your suburbs, in your communities, go in and say, I want that home. It's only $40,000. I put another $30,000 inside that home, another $40,000 inside that home, fix up the walls, get crown mold, and do this. And the home is only 1,400 square feet. Do you know you just paid for a great house at $70,000? And if you stay 3 to 5 years in a house at a 1,500 square foot house, you can sell that house for $150,000 to $200,000. Did you know that? See, that's why real estate is the number one profession that makes the most millionaires. It's the number one profession that makes the most millionaires because they go into these neighborhoods and they go to the city, council, they go downtown and they say, hey, where are the new developments occurring at? Where are the new shopping centers happening at? And they build neighborhoods, or you buy a house around that neighborhood, because people love the fact that they can ride their bike, ride their scooter, and walk to the grocery store, go to the Walmart, walk their kids to school. That increased the property value. And the most important thing that's great for value is it near a police station? Is it near a fire department? Is there a YMCA close? All of these are factors. I know we're talking about debt and I know we're talking about home, but I'm trying to get your mind into a space. If you're going to be in debt in a good way. Okay, be in debt in a good way, because the question is, what is debt? Debt is basically owing somebody some money with interest. More times than not. Yeah, a buddy of mine can loan me $100, and it's a no interest loan, but I'm still indebted to him. That's all that really is. It doesn't matter if it's from a friend, organization, a corporation, a bank, etc. It doesn't matter. That's debt. But how do you use debt for good? I don't need to teach you guys how to use debt for bad. You already know. You have a credit card. You have a car. You already know bad debt. But how do you use debt for your good? Now, don't get me wrong. I like Dave Ramsey. I like what he stands for. But when it comes to debt, I know a lot of millionaires say, I love debt. They actually tell me they love debt because they use debt as a tool, as an engine for cash flow, because they love debt. That's what they're doing for debt. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the chat room, if you like what I'm talking about, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'm almost done here. But I really want to harp on the two things that one of the fellows in the chat room talked about. They talked about consolidation loans, and then I brought up refinancing. If you're going to do a consolidation loan, it's another form of a debt that they're just combining all your debt into one. But you can be duped, you can be tricked, you can be fooled, you can be bamboozled into a higher interest rate than the three loans that you had that they're consolidating. So you have to watch out for that. What's going on, Paul Brown? Nice to see you. So these are the things we really need to think about. And then when it comes to refi, my question is, well, how long have you already had your home? So you're going into another 30-year fixed? Think about that. You're going into another 30-year fix. You already sent 5 years on your loan. You already paid off 5 years on your loan. I mean, so now you're paying 35 years on the house. Here's another good tactic. Get into a 30-year fixed, knowing you're only going to be 3 to 5 years inside that home, because now your payments are smaller. Okay, your payments are smaller, and you're still going to be an equity based upon your neighborhood upgrades and the upgrades you have inside that home. See, that's a futuristic tactic that you're like, you know what? This is not my retirement home, so I'm not going to pay all that money. But granted, it will be equity inside your home that you can take out. So either way really works, but you can be doing upgrades to the home with that extra amount of money that if you would have got into a 15-year fix, you can put that inside the home to do upgrades and increase the value of that home. Now, we understand credit card debt. Again, I just want to do a brief overview. Credit card debt can be used for good when you pay off that amount before your billing cycle. So you don't pay those jokers, those credit card sharks, any interest, but they give you all the rewards. Because some people say, well, the credit card rewards aren't that good. Well, let me tell you, that's true in a lot of cases, but not when it comes to my Visa Gap card. I think the first time I used it for about a month or 2 months, I had $200 that I can go into the Gap, Old Navy, and Banana Republic and use on. And I didn't pay them any interest rate. I use it, pay it, use it, pay it, use it, pay it, go in the Gap, buy a bunch of shirts and shorts. You get what I'm trying to say? So there is some cards out there where you don't pay an annual fee, you don't pay a monthly fee, you don't pay a maintenance fee. There's a lot of cards out there like that. So again, if you're going to use somebody else's money, like a credit card, like a loan from a bank, use it for good. Use it as an asset for your cash flow, as an engine, as a tool for your cash flow to come in. Because there's many ways to have liabilities in your life that money just suck money out of your bank account. But the intelligent people, the smart people, they actually use debt to put money in their pockets and not take money out of their pockets. This is Financial Literacy 101. Again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel where I give you money saving tips, debt saving tips, and also investments and stimulus updates. Learn money and be inspired. You guys have a great day. Be safe, wear your mask, and whoop, keep your distance. I'm out.